In today's video, I will show you every single thing you need to know about backing up Laravel projects, how to back up the database, as well as the files, the media uploads, and everything, how to encrypt backups, how to decrypt backups, and how to do automatic backups every single day, and much more in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. I've went ahead and started a new Laravel project. And the first thing we'll do is open up Google or whatever search engine you'd like to use. And we're going to search Spatie, S-P-A-T-I-E, Laravel Backup and hit enter. And then we're going to click the first result, which will go to Spatie's website. And then we're going to click installation and setup here in the sidebar menu. And before we go ahead and install this package, I just wanted to show you really quick that it has over 5,000 stars on GitHub, and I've used it for all my projects and it works flawlessly. So I highly recommend it. And many other people who use Laravel use this package. Then we're going to go ahead and copy this composer command, go back to the terminal and run it, and it's going to install the package. You can see the package has been successfully installed. Now we're going to go back to the website and we need to publish the configuration file. It's very important. So we're going to copy this command and then go back to the terminal and then we're going to run it. And now the backup configuration file has been published to our project so we can edit it. Now we're going to open our project, and if we go to the config folder, we're going to have a new file that says backup.php. We're going to go ahead and click this file. I'm going to quickly walk you through the configuration file. I'm going to show you what I usually edit. So this files array, I usually don't edit it. However, for one project, I did edit the exclude array. So you may want to exclude another folder that you don't want to back up. However, for the most part, I think you can leave this as is. And then there's a setting for the database. So by default, it's MySQL. However, if you have a different database, you're going to want to change this. And then if we scroll down, there's an option for a database dump compressor. I've never used that. However, if you have a massive database and you want to save some space, you may want to look into that. And then there's some more database options. They're not really important. And then there's an option for the compression method. I would just leave it as is. If you have a massive site, then you may want to look into some of this stuff. But for the average site just starting out, it's not a big deal at all. And so we're going to keep scrolling. This disk array may be important to you. If you don't want to store on your local server and you want to store on a different disk, then you may want to look into changing this. And this temporary directory, I would just leave it as is. The password is super important. I will show you in a little bit how to set this up, but you definitely want to encrypt your backups. And you can just keep the encryption algorithm on the default. It works very well. And then I would leave this and the retry delay as is. I don't think you should change them. Now, the notifications is super important. So if we scroll over here to the right, you're actually going to get an email every day when a backup has been successful. I like that the first day or two just to make sure everything's working. But then after that, I don't want to be emailed every day knowing that the backup was successful. I only want to be emailed when there's an error. And so a lot of people look at these 3 successful notifications and they'll just comment it out, but that's actually a terrible idea and you should not do that. And the author has said, do not do that. Instead, if you want to not get mail for a certain notification, you're going to want to just remove mail right here and leave it as an empty array. And so my recommended setup is the successful notifications, the 3 bottom ones. I would leave those on for the first day or two just to make sure everything's working. Once it's working, I wouldn't bother getting notified every day. And then if something goes wrong, I do want to get notified. So I keep the top 3 as is. Also, if you want to get notifications via Slack, there's instructions right here. You can download this package, Laravel/Slack-notification-channel. And then you can add Slack, for example, like this, and you'll get notifications via Slack. You can also create your own custom notification classes. If you're interested in doing that, then you should look further into their documentation. And right here is very important. So you want to add your email, and this is where the notifications are going to get sent. So I can go ahead and just do Laravel at Host.Promo, and then I'll get emails when those backups fail or if something goes wrong. And the from array will be set in your environment config file in Laravel, so you don't have to worry about changing that. And they also have some options for Slack. You'll need to add a webhook URL if you want to get notifications for Slack. And you can leave these three options as is. And if you leave it as is, it will go to the default channel where the webhook is used. And there's also some options to set up Discord as well if you want to get notifications on Discord. And here we can specify which backup should be monitored. I'll just leave it as is. And if we scroll down, I do want to show you a few things I like to change. So there's going to be a default strategy array, and this array I think is very important because everybody's going to have a different server size. So what I usually will edit is this value right here. So it will delete backups when it gets over 5,000 megabytes. However, my server is quite big, so I usually change this to 10 to 20,000. And so that way, once it gets to 20 gigabytes or 20,000 megabytes, it will go ahead and start deleting the backups. I personally think 5 gigabytes is a little bit too small. However, if you don't have a lot of space on your server, then you'll want to leave this as is. And you may want to change these other values, like how many daily backups you want, how many weekly backups, monthly backups you want to keep, yearly backups you want to keep, etc. And then these two values right here, I would just leave them as is. Now, I think it's very important that you encrypt the backups with a password. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that really quick. So we're going to open the .env file, and then we're going to go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom. And we're going to type in a new line, backup underscore archive underscore password equals, and then we're going to set a password right here. I'll just do testing123, but I encourage you to set a strong password right here. And just to make sure that we type this in correctly, I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And then I'm going to go back to the config backup file. And I'm going to go ahead and look for this word, backup archive password. Boom. Okay, so it's set up correctly. And since this is a brand new project, I had to go ahead and set up my database. So I went ahead and created the database tutorial project. And I also ran the migration files, and I also put the database password in the env file. And so now we are ready to go ahead and test. So now we're going to go back to our terminal and we're going to type PHP artisan and then backup and hit enter. And then if we look at the very bottom, you'll see a few commands that we can run. We want to run backup : run. So we're going to do PHP artisan backup run and go ahead and hit enter to back up our website. And you can see that was very fast because this is a super small project. It's backed up the database and it's backed up the files and folders. And so let's go ahead and check if it worked. So now we're going to go ahead and click storage and then click app and then go ahead and click Laravel. And you can see right here that we have a new backup. And depending on your project name, I haven't changed the project name. My project name is Laravel. So that's why this folder is called Laravel. Your folder may be the name of your project. Now we're going to go ahead and open this backup folder. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my GUI. And so I'm going to go ahead and extract this zip file so we can see what's in it. And I'm going to go ahead and click select and then click extract and then click extract again. It's asking me for a password. So you can see that the encryption worked. And so we need to go back to our environment file. And I'm going to copy this password right here, testing123. And we're going to go ahead and put in this password and click OK. And it says extraction completed successfully. And now that we've successfully extracted the zip, we have two folders. One is db dumps. And so this is exactly what it sounds like. It will be our SQL file, our database file for the database backup. And then we'll have another folder And that folder will have all our code and all our files and all the media uploads. However, we probably don't want to run PHP artisan backup run every single day manually. So let me go ahead and show you how to automate that. If we scroll down on the Spatie installation page, we'll eventually come and we'll see this right here where it says scheduling. We're going to want to go ahead and copy these 2 lines of code right here. And then we're going to go back into our project and we're going to click the app folder and then console and then kernel. And we're going to paste in the 2 lines of code right here. And so it will run the backup every single day at 1:30 in the morning. And then it will clean the backups if we have over the size that we specified at 1 in the morning. However, if you'd prefer a different schedule, you can easily change this. And you can simply search Laravel cron on Google and then click this first result where it says task scheduling. And then if you scroll down, it shows you a bunch of different examples you can use. For example, you can back up twice daily, you can back up weekly, you can back up weekly on a certain day, you can back up monthly, and much more. And one really important thing that I want to mention for people who are new to Laravel is these commands that you put right here in the console kernel file, they're not going to run magically every single day. You're going to have to go to Laravel's documentation and they'll tell you how you can run the scheduler. It's pretty easy. You can simply just run a cron job. And one other thing that I wanted to mention is if you're using Laravel Nova, which is probably the best backend for Laravel right now, Spatie has also created another package called the Spatie Nova Backup Tool. And you're going to want to install this on top of the package and everything we already did. And this package will basically give you a nice graphical interface for your Laravel Nova backend, where you can also create backups in the backend, delete backups, and also download backups. So I highly recommend you download the package and go through all the configuration and stuff we did earlier. And then if you're using Laravel Nova, to then come and download this package as well. This package is super easy to download and install, and you don't really need to configure much. And they have instructions. And I hope you guys found this video helpful. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure to check out my website, Host.Promo, if you're interested in finding the best free web hosting trials and web hosting promotions out there. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.